More than 14 billion years ago, before the Big Bang itself, there was nothing but an endless ocean of primordial monsters in the Adventure Time universe, a sea of pure infinite chaos, and this was the very first age of terror. But then something completely unexpected happened. Out of that imperfection came the great explosion that we knew as the Big Bang, right in the middle of cosmic inflation, under the strange laws that govern the reality of Adventure Time. Here, the ocean of monsters began to break apart, separating and dissolving, and many of these creatures may have emerged into a single entity whose name is always sometimes written in capital letters, but we're gonna talk about later in the video. An embodiment of pure chaos, terrifying and relentless, almost like a god of discord, a being whose presence can only be felt in every crack where chaos lurks. But what is the purpose of such an incarnation of chaos? Well, since it was born from the primordial soup that we saw in the beginning, its only desire is to unleash absolute destruction for ancient pleasure, and something worse, to extinguish life itself and begin a second age of terror. In other words, to return everything back to the primordial broth and enjoy eternal chaos. This is the full existential reason for this being. Some primordial monsters managed to survive this formation of reality, and among them was Gunter, Matthew, and maybe even a primordial version of the Night Amulet, an object capable of turning its wielder into the eternal incarnation of evil himself. I would love to tell you more about these beings, but the series never revealed many of them, since the number is practically uncountable. Still, after reality had stabilized and continued expanding, the monsters from before the void sought to shatter it, because they hated this new reality. They wanted to return everything to their chaotic primordial broth, and at the center of it all was Golb himself. This is why the era became known as the first coming of Golb. He and his minions spread chaos and destruction across the multiverse. Naturally, this attack on reality caught the attention of the deities like the Cosmic Owl, and to contain the threat, they created the Citadel, a prison meant to hold the most dangerous beings, whether primordial monsters or mere pawns of chaos itself. And somehow, through means that we still don't know about, the neutral gods even managed to trap the red giant Golb inside this antiverse, a dimensional void capable of containing the devastating power of Golb himself. But not all monsters were destroyed. Some of the smaller ones like Gunter, Orgalorg, and Matthew managed to slip by unnoticed. Gunter remained on Earth, later becoming the source of dark magic. Matthew also found his way to Earth, creating a mountain where he preyed on conflicting minds, breaking them down to their own original material essence and absorbing them like we saw in one of the episodes. He patiently waited for the second age of terror, where he would rise again in his final form. Meanwhile, the most important character for this story, Orgalorg, wandered through the universe, destroying worlds and conquering solar systems, and always chasing his ambition of absorbing a catalyst comet to gain greater wisdom and power. Orgalorg also unleashed chaos, even conquering our solar system with brutal cruelty, and ancient races gave him the title Destroyer of Worlds because of this. But his hunger for power led him to intercept a yellow catalyst comet destined to hit Earth. By doing so, he offended the King of Mars, who decreed his downfall, and indeed Orgalorg was overthrown, banished to Earth, and crushed by its gravity. Weakened and broken, he eventually forgot his true nature and dark past, and his new transformation began. As punishment, he was forced to live through every human era, the Ancient Age, the Middle Ages, the Modern Age, and beyond. He was there when fire was discovered in the Stone Age. He witnessed the birth of agriculture in the Neolithic. He was in ancient Egypt, where he saw that great aliens helped humans build the pyramids, and he passed through Greece and Rome, even joining strange cultures, perhaps tied to Gunter too. During the Middle Ages, though, he became part of the nobility. Later, he founded his own drink brand, he became rich, and tested early electric cars, and he lived through World War I, became a film director, dated Hollywood stars, and then abandoned it all to study Buddhism in India to seek a calmer life. Finally, in the year 2893, he arrived in the Ice Kingdom and was adopted by the Ice King himself. From then on, he became known as the character that we all know and love, Gunter the Penguin. Eventually, though, Gunter fell into dishonor, becoming a simple puny penguin, very different from his origins of power, and from him came the long line of penguins named after Gunter and that we see in the Adventure Time series. Then we move to the year 3010. 1,000 years earlier, Earth had been struck by its blue catalyst comet. Now, signs pointed to the arrival of another. The universe itself seemed to be warning Finn through astral journeys and prophetic dreams. Orgalorg tried to break out of his penguin shell to merge with the incoming comet. Even Sweet Pea had dreams about this approach, and Princess Bubblegum was monitoring the threat, but she was distracted by the self-proclaimed King of Ooh, who was trying to steal her throne. After losing these rigged elections, Bubblegum abandoned the Candy Kingdom, leaving it to the collapse under the growing threat of the Purple Catalyst Comet. Desperate, her people begged the King of Ooh to help, but the guy was just hiding away just 4 hours after taking power. Instead, they found that Gunter was stealing the Princess Bubblegum's spaceship, and it turned out that Orgalorg had planned this all along. His goal was to break free from Earth's atmosphere, shed his penguin shell, and absorb the Purple Comet, becoming unstoppable and enslaving the universe itself. To make this possible, he hurled Finn and Jake into the Infinite Drift, and Jake became separated from Finn, his fears of death growing bigger and bigger, and meanwhile, while Finn was drifting away in the universe, he started singing from the depths of his soul, unknowingly drawing cosmic energy, and through this bond with the universe, he summoned his father. Still trapped in the Great Polyp, he said to Finn that only Finn's presence could move it. Knowing that this could be the end, Finn focused everything on entering Orgalorg's body to stop him from consuming the comet. Inside, Finn Grass's arm activated, and he slashed the monster's stomach and freed the Purple Comet. The comet then spoke to Finn, offering him a chance to merge with it to become part of the eternal infinite universe. But to do so, he would need to abandon everything that made him human in the first place. Finn, of course, refused, as he valued his mortal life more, despite its pain, and wanted to live it out fully with his best friend Jake. His father, though, Martin, accepted the offer, confirming that he was an escapist being unable to face his own existence. Finn disagreed with his choice, but respected it, and that's how his father became the eternal infinite guardian of the universe. Thanks to his now cosmic link, Finn managed to summon Banana Man, who rescued Jake from his certain end. Reunited, they returned home, and Orgalorg, broken and without purpose, clung to Banana Man's spaceship and went back to his life as a puny penguin. Now, in the year 3011, Betty used Evergreen's crown to fuse her mortal mind with the divine mind of Golb. Banishing him from the crown actually reverted to its original wish and landed at Gunter's feet. Fearing Orgalorg's return, and everybody around started panicking because they thought he was gonna wish to return to being Orgalorg. But the penguin now only wished to be like his master, the Ice King. Gunter eventually transformed into something very similar to what the Ice King once was, before his reset inside the essence of Golb. He still carried the very first wish of the Ice King. He inherited it in the crown, the old desire to be just like his master. And Evergreen's crown had kept all of its flaws since prehistoric times. Then one day, while he was in the library, the crown's left gem suddenly fell out, and by pure chance, it rolled and got stuck inside of a donut. Ice Gunter picked it up and handed it to the Turtle Princess. The lonely librarian, who had been waiting for someone like him, without hesitation, married him. In just a few days, Gunter had achieved what the Ice King couldn't do in almost 1,000 years. A true ladies' man, right? From here on, we still don't know what really happens, but we can theorize that most likely he took Turtle Princess to live with him in the Ice Kingdom, though he also kept in touch with close friends like Simon, Bubblegum, and Marceline. And this is essentially how the whole story of Gunter plays out. A real god who lives like a mortal in the body of a penguin. And well guys, that's all the video for today. I really hope you guys liked this video and liked the whole story of how Gunter started off as a god and then ended up like a real puny penguin with no powers whatsoever, and how he re-evolved into the Ice King, turning into Ice Gunter. I really hope you liked this story. If you did, give it a big thumbs up if you liked it, subscribe, and I'll check you guys on the next one. Take care.